So I'm very interested to hear his second speech tonight, which is all about organizing your speech. Please join me in welcoming Dell Foster.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guest, thanks again for the opportunity to come on up. First, I want to start off and go ahead and let you know who influenced me most in my life. Pretty easy. I believe you know from my last speech, my mother and father. I did My Life as a Sitcom, and I talked a lot about the influence that my mom and dad had on me. And to this day, my mother is the wind beneath my wings. She's an encourager, and she's always in my corner, pushing me to do better. So without question, my mother and my father are the biggest influence in my life. I know you're thinking, why does this guy have a football field? Well, it's my prop. So you'll see in a moment. Tonight's speech, The Lost Art of Leadership. Leadership is one of the most Googled words on the internet, but yet most organizations say it's their scarcest resource. I think all of you out there would agree that it's very hard to define the attributes of what a good leader has. And I think most of us have worked for a bad leader, and you knew he was bad, or she. And a lot of us work for good leaders, and you knew when they were good. So tonight I'm going to go ahead and try to give you 3 attributes of good leaders. As you may remember, I'm a United States Marine, so I'm going to put some military references in there as well, and I'm a huge fan of sports, so I'm going to put some sports analogies in this as well. Number 1, leaders have a vision and they have a plan. The very essence of leadership is to have a vision. The Bible tells us, where there is no vision, the people shall perish. In the military, we have a saying, plans never survive first contact, but they do give us a way to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Some time ago, Inc. magazine did a study of about 50 different companies, and half of those companies did a very detailed business plan to figure out how they were going to go ahead and attack the marketplace. And the other half did a day-by-day, react to operations, fly by the seat of your pants. And probably not to your surprise, they did a study 2 to 3 years later where they went back and looked at those companies, and those companies who had done a detailed plan were vastly further ahead in the marketplace than those who had not. So you must plan. The truth be told, strategic plans are seldom revisited. Once you figure them out, you put them on the shelf, and you don't go back again for at least another year to look at it again. But the process of thinking about that plan that you went through mentally to figure it out is going to help you greatly in your success as a leader. After the successful invasion of Normandy, General Eisenhower was asked about his plan, and his reply was, the plans were useless, but the planning process was indisposable. So once again, that whole process of thinking about it was what helped him to be successful. And a time management expert named Alec McKenzie once said, action without planning is the cause of every failure. So once again, first point, leaders have a vision and they have a plan. Point number 2, the leaders are tough, they're tough-minded, and they work hard. Your ability to persist through your obstacles and difficulties to achieve your goals is critical to your success as a leader. Every great success in your life will represent a triumph of persistence. Anybody know who Tim Tebow is? Tim Tebow, he's the man. Florida Gator, quarterback. He's taken the Florida Gators to 2 national championships and has 1 Heisman Trophy. And this young man is tough. Not only is he tough, he's also tough-minded. And he works very hard. The Gators, they run the option offense. The option offense, if you know anything about it, quarterback takes the ball, he can fake it to the dive man, who's the fullback, pulls it out. If he doesn't want to give it to him, he can pitch it to the halfback. If he doesn't pitch it to the halfback, he can take it himself. There's actually a quadruple option. He can also pass the ball on occasion as well. When it's 3rd and 2, and the Florida Gators have the ball, everybody in the stadium knows who's running the ball. It's going to be Tim Tebow. And in football, those are the tough yards. When you have 2 yards to go, 2 yards in a big cloud of dust, those are the tough yards. But Tim Tebow, once again, extremely tough-minded, puts his team on his back, and gets those extra yards. Not only does the whole stadium know he's going to get the ball, so does those 2 linebackers over there as well. but 10 people figures out a way how to do it. Additionally, last season, when he lost a game at the beginning of the season, the upset game to Ole Miss, he came out to the media, took all the blame on his shoulders, put his team on his back, and said nobody's going to work harder to take this team to a national championship, and guess what? That's what he did. And then lastly, he also happens to be a devout Christian. And for whatever reason, people decided to try to criticize him for that reason. The media and other outlets tried to criticize him because of his Christianity and how he lives his life. But despite any opprobrium, he persists on and he continues to live out his faith. He's tough. Lance Armstrong, I'm sure we all know who he is. 7-time Tour de France winner and also a cancer survivor. He was once asked, or I'm sorry, he once said, "I've read that I flew up the hills of France, but you don't fly up a hill, you struggle painfully and slowly, and maybe if you work very hard, you get to the top ahead of everybody else." It's not given to you, folks. You want to be a leader, you got to work hard, you got to be tough, and you got to be tough-minded. Third point, leaders build a cohesive team. Your ability to form the right relationship at every stage of your life is going to be critical to your success as a leader. True success comes from building a cohesive team. I'm sure everybody knows who Terrell Owens is, or most of us do. This young man, 33 years old, extremely talented, wide receiver, currently plays for the Buffalo Bills. Prior to that, he played for the San Francisco 49ers, my beloved Philadelphia Eagles, and also for the Dallas Cowboys. Every step along the way, he managed to tear the team cohesiveness of that particular team down to the point where they asked him to just move on and get out of here. I'm talking, he has so much talent. 6'3", runs a 4.4 40, strong as an ox, and can get downfield and stretch out the defense. But nobody wants him. Why? Because he's not a team player. On the other hand, you take Hines Ward, probably all of 5'11", tough as nails though, and is a team player, has the grit to do what he has to do in order to go ahead and try to get that victory. And his teammates love him, and consequently, he also has 2 Super Bowl rings, and who knows, he may have a 3rd coming this year. So your ability, once again, your ability to form team cohesion is going to be crucial to your success. Henry Ford once said, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a process, and working together is success." So in conclusion, on some level in your life, you are called to lead, whether that be Toastmasters, whether it be your job, or whether it be your family. So consider these 3 key leadership attributes that I mentioned today. In Dell's advice, if you start anywhere, start building that cohesive team at home with your family. Be a better son, be a better daughter, be a better brother, a better sister, a better husband, a better wife, be a better man or a better woman. Mr. Toastmaster.